The other thing I want to show you is the line weight. So let's say I want to make the tabletop a heavier line, or let's say I have this, I'm working with an L-shaped piece. If I'm working with an L-shaped piece that has, that I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna do line weight to show this heavier and this lighter when I look at the top. So I can have a piece here that looks like this. And out of this part is heavier line and this is lighter line. So I'm going to go into the layers and I'm going to rename them like your micron pen. 005, 02, you said 02, right?
Yes.
And 05, okay. So I type this in, this is the name of this layer. And now I'm going to also change the print width, now where it says print width. And I'm going to say, okay, this is going to be my very thin line, 005, that it's a hairline, right? That's anything lower than 0.1 is hairline. Very, very, very thin. And it may be just too thin for our purposes. We'll look at it in a second.
Is Maddie there?
Maddie was trying to get in and I don't know, hold on a moment, because I tried to many times to admit, but he's stuck there. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm still able to join.
I know, but I don't know why. Can he try again? I saw him in the waiting room and I admitted him, but he was not able to come in. So so the next one is 0.2. I'm gonna go print width and say 0.2, 0.25. That's fine. And 0.5, let me try 0.5. You see how the lines already become thicker? I can also try a 0.6. And instead of giving the actual numbers here, I can also say small, medium, large, or, you know, I'm gonna go small, medium, large. Small, medium, large. It's not really large, it's thick, but anyway. So I can play with the width here. I can also play with the line type. Line type, I'm gonna make a new layer here. And here is where I can create a new layer. And I'm gonna call this dashed lines or hidden lines, okay? I can also change the location of these layers, but that it doesn't affect you now.
Go there.
If I go here, it's gonna go under the text as a sub layer, right? If I push it out, it's gonna be freestanding as its own layer. Now the line type, if I click continuous here, it's gonna give me the whole option. Do you want hidden lines, dashed lines? As you see, dashed and hidden are slightly different. I'm gonna stick to the hidden lines for now. They're a little bit denser. So I'm gonna say hidden lines. And let me try a couple of hidden lines and a couple of line weights here. So if I have a hidden line here, I select it, right click, change object layer. And it becomes already a dashed line, okay? Do you see that? If I wanna change this layer to be a thicker line, I select the object, go to large, right click, change object layer. And you see it's already white because this is the color of the layer. It does not gonna print white, it just looks white in Rhino. Okay, and then this, let's say, is a thin line. I'm gonna go to small and change object layer. It goes into the blue layer. Okay, now I'm gonna make these lines a bit heavier. I'm gonna go to large, change object layer. And now I'm ready to see, okay, what is it that I'm drawing all this time? How can I print this as a PDF and submit it? Let's create a piece of paper. In our case, we're gonna try, and instead of 1117, let's try an 1117. Yeah. Let's try an 1117. I'm gonna do a polyline, and same thing as I did for the rectangles, 17 inches long, to the right, 11 inches up, top, left, and C to close. This is my paper, okay? And I want to center the paper in such a way that looks nice. And now I'm ready to print. File, print. It says, okay, where do you want to print? It will ask you, do you want to print the printers? Do you want to make a PDF? Do you want to make a JPEG? I'm fine if you make a JPEG. It's easier with Miro. You can do a PDF or JPEG. Both are fine, but I'm gonna stick to JPEG for now.
Just the difference between PDF and JPEG, it's like, the PDF, it's vector work. That means that the lines never going, how to say?
They're not images, they're
blur.
lines. They never blur.
Yeah,
they never pixelate, ever.
They're vectors. They're like...
you keep zooming in and in and in and in,
yeah,
and the line looks always perfect. It doesn't pixelate. That's PDF.
This is the PDF, but in JPEG, PNG, all of them, that the Photoshop files, this is a big difference between Photoshop and Illustrator or InDesign, is like in Photoshop files, they're images. That's why as you zoom,
raster.
Yeah, as you zoom, you lose
definition.
Definition, the clear of the line.
You lose the clarity. Let me see if actually, I know that Madi is trying to get in, and I really don't know why he cannot. Anyway, now, okay, where were we? Printing.
I cannot send you. Yeah.
So I chose JPEG for now, and it says, okay, how big the paper? I'm gonna say 17 by 11. What quality? 200 dots per inch is fine for now. It says here normal quality. You can also do high quality. We don't need to overdo it. It's simple lines. It's gonna come out nice. What do you want to output? The print color, display color, or just black and white? I'm just gonna stick to print for now. I'll explain that in a moment. And what view? Yeah, sure, I'm on top view, but I want the specific window. And I want to set the window to be exactly the window that I designed it to be. So it is not exactly...
Maybe the paper is not 11.
Hold on one moment. File, print, 1117. So what is it that, scale to fit, I don't want to scale to fit, I want to get 1-to-1. What I drew is what I get. That's what I need. Let me try to set the window one more time. Oh, now it's set, right? So it should match exactly the frame that we did. Change scale to fit window area, yes, that's exactly the area that I need. I'm just gonna hit enter to accept and continue a little bit further. It says, so, window, yes, scale to fit 1-to-1, because what 1-to-1 means what you draw is what the reality is. One is paper space to reality. What you draw is what you get. And then margins and position, we're not going to change. Line types, I'm not going to change nothing here, or the visibility. And I'm going to say print. So let me try on the desktop to say test print 1 in the folder, in the today folder. So what I'm getting here is, actually the color came out, and I will explain why.
Here.
Madi? Madi? I feel sorry for Madi. I don't know why this is happening.
Okay.
See, he's admitted, but he can't join. This is just really strange. Anyway, we have to continue. So I was wrong earlier when I said that color is not going to print. And why I was wrong, I didn't notice that it says here, it says the color of the layer is colorful. And then this print color is also colorful. And I didn't notice this earlier. So I want to make sure that all these colors, the print colors are black. I'm just going to pretend I'm using black ink here. So I'm going to go down and choose black. Same here. I certainly don't want white, black, black, and I'm going to choose black for everything. If I want to go fancy, and the drawing, the example that I showed you earlier was using color, right? So I showed this before. I showed you this, and this was using blue, like blue ink. If I want to do that, I have to choose the print color to be something nice. And, you know, traditionally this kind of brown tones may be nice as well. So if you're going to go a little bit fancy, feel free to experiment with the different print colors. So now I'm ready to print again. The settings are already here, ready. I don't need to set it again, it remembers it. So I'm gonna say print and test print. Let's look at the result. Today, test print. That's it. I'm looking at it and I say, okay, I think maybe the thin line is a little bit too thin. And you'll see, I certainly don't want this to be read if this isn't. So I'm gonna make all this correct. These are still in the default layer and I didn't mean to leave them there. So I'm gonna change that. So there is, what I'm demonstrating here is a back and forth process of what you produce and what the output is. The output is this drawing that you're not fully in control of because you're working in this abstract space in Rhino where there is colors, you don't see line weights, it's all just abstract information. You're just entering data, but you don't really see what you're drawing right away. So you have to output very frequently and see, is this what you intended? Are the lines too thick? Should you modify them? It's a back and forth ping pong. You type something, you output. You type, you output. Does that make sense? Okay, so let me make a couple of corrections. I didn't mean to leave this in the default layer. I'm gonna select and put them in medium, change object layer. And these lines, I'm gonna put them in, oh, they're already in large. So I can always turn on and off and observe that, right? So this is pretty much the process. This is what it takes. And then you wanna print again and again until you get it right. So if you zoom in, let's compare what we were discussing earlier. If you zoom in, test print here, you see how I zoom in and the line just loses resolution. This is because it's a JPEG. And I said JPEG is okay for now. We are not doing a crazy, like super detailed drawing and it will look just fine on Miro. But just for the sake of comparing it, if I want to print a PDF instead, I have to set things up again. I'm going to print an 1117. It's going to be landscape. I want a vector output, not raster. Raster is the image. Vector is the actual line. Pixel. You can think about it like it never pixelates. What do I want to do? The window, I have to set it again. It remembers it. Great. Scale 1 to 1. And let me see if I can just print right away. It says, okay, what do you want to call it? Test PDF drawing 1, and it exports the PDF. Now let me zoom in and in and in and in, and you see how sharp these lines are? It never pixelates. You also see that for me to see it, Adobe Acrobat got on, right? It's automatically in my computer. Every PDF file opens in Adobe Acrobat. So that's the difference between a vector file and a raster file. It comes down to this kind of resolution. But again, for our purposes, and because we're working with Miro, I think that the JPEG is just fine for now. Any questions so far?
Because we need to fit 3 drawings in one page, right?
Correct.
So it doesn't look like it fits on that page.
Yes, you see, I just drew a rectangle here. If this rectangle is too small, I'm just gonna draw another rectangle. And again, the next size up, 24 inches by 18 inches is this size up. This is 18 by 24 arc C, okay? If I have to set the paper again, I go File, Print, and I choose a new window this time, and I just select this new window. Make sure it's 1 to 1 and print. Okay, so it's gonna print the new size. Notice my drawing doesn't change. What I drew here is 1 to 1. What I measure is what I draw. And that's always how we draw. Even if we build a huge skyscraper, you know, the skyscraper is 500 feet tall, we draw a line that measures 500 feet. Okay, but we can always zoom in and zoom out, zoom in and zoom out, which is dizzy making, but at the same time, this is all in the making. The output is what matters. If I output at 1:1 scale, I'll get a 500 feet long drawing. So with the case of the skyscraper, it doesn't make sense to print 1:1, and that's why we scale things down. In our case, we print 1:1. We say to scale sometimes, which means exactly what you measure is what you get. We sometimes, if we have an object that's too small, we print twice the scale. So sometimes you see drawings where you can see the screw. So we have to enlarge those drawings to be able to see them. And that scale is 2:1, 4:1, 5:1, like 5 times bigger. It depends on the kind of detail you draw.